So, fellow survivor, you have survived the opening gauntlet of Interloper. You have a bow, you have a base, you have some gear. You are now in it for the long haul of surviving to perhaps 500 days or even longer. And there's a voice inside yourself saying, now what? Don't worry, Zach and the online streaming community are here to help you out. Let's get to it. Just a disclaimer before we start, this video is slightly different from the other ones and is focusing more on staying alive after you already made it and what to do at your time and what kind of decisions you need to make while playing the long game. It is aimed at interloper players, but players of any difficulty will hopefully find this useful if they're aiming to survive for a long time. Let's get to it. In terms of bases, you will probably set up a main base somewhere. Trapper's Cabin is possibly the most popular choice. However, in addition to your main base, you also want to set up at least one secondary base for every region. Here you can see some sample locations that work as suitable bases, but these are just suggestions and you should choose the bases you prefer yourself. The main reason to do this is to make traveling easier. If you have basic supplies stored in every region, you can safely travel between them without worrying about food or water. On my runs, I keep the following supplies in each base: food stored outside, water stored inside, 6 cattails, 1 rosehip tea, 1 reishi tea, 2 bandages and 4 matches. This ensures that I always have the security of basic survival supplies available in the region, and I can return to safety whenever I want. I should also note that in some regions, such as Ash Canyon or Tin Wolf Mountain, I also recommend storing extra bandages and extra rosehip tea. This is because of the moose.
Prepare yourselves!
Should you get stomped, your climbing days are over, and if you are in Ash Canyon or Tin Wolf Mountain, this can seriously disrupt your traveling plans. So having those medicines ready means you can recover more easily.
Now you know how it is to get stumped by a moose.
Securing a large and reliant food supply for your base is key to long-term survival. You want to go out there and hunt whatever animal you find, with bears and moose providing the most meat.
Woo!
Your main base should have a large amount of food stored outside, as well as lots of water and ideally quite a bit of wood. This will ensure that your basic survival needs are taken care of, and should you be in trouble, you can always rely on returning to your main base.
We made it. We made it.
Whenever I go on long expeditions, I often find myself returning to the main base every 30 or 50 days, and usually spend a few days there repairing, resupplying and preparing for the next trip. Having lots of basic supplies means you can return to the base without having to worry about securing survival needs. You can just take a break and recover. So make sure your main base is well supplied so you never have to worry about anything whenever you drop by. Fire is life in the long dark, and for that reason you want to conserve matches whenever you can and find the maglens as soon as possible if you're planning on surviving a long time. Surviving without fire is actually impossible in the long run. Just ask streamer The Deadpool, who tried to do an interloper run without any fire. His longest run was 42 days, but eventually you will die without fire.
You basically need to conserve your water every single day because there's only so much water on the map because of toilets and whatnot. So because you're not starting a fire and making your water, you got that finite amount of toilet water.
Without fire, it is unlikely you can survive longer than 50 days in total. Therefore, fire is a luxury in Interloper, and a priority is to find a maglens. This will allow you to create fires on sunny days without using matches, and the maglens doesn't really break or reduce condition. There's usually 2 or 3 of these around the world, with a guaranteed spawn somewhere in Mystery Lake for every run. You should use the maglens whenever you can. If possible, you might even want to wait a couple of days just to get a clear day and then start cooking. One note regarding the maglens is that dawn seems to have a higher likelihood of sunshine, but this has not been extensively tested and it could be just a coincidence. On Interloper, your main hunting weapon is the bow. The great thing about the bow is its renewable ammunition, so you should always pick up your arrows after use. This way you can reuse the arrows until they break, at which point you can break them down and make new ones. There are plenty of birch saplings around, even on Interloper, but they are finite and will eventually run out, although it is possible to sometimes get them through beachcombing. With a few exceptions, the arrows are always retrievable. You can even loot arrows from fleeing animals.
Oh no! Oh, thank you, God! Oh, my arrows! No, they're inside the...
If the animal runs away, you can later find the carcass and just click on it and loot the arrows that way. Broken arrows, however, will be on the ground. Even if you can't find the animal or it despawns, the arrows are usually somewhere around the world. You just got to go find them.
Well, I found one arrow and lost another, so... Catch my attention and I realize... Ah! One of the missing arrows!
If you're really in to survive for the long run, and perhaps even aiming for that juicy 500-day achievement, then you shouldn't do unnecessarily risky things. To take one example, when I was on day 499 on Interloper, I recklessly decided to go outside and clear out some walls in the Pleasant Valley orchard. This worked out, but it was really a stupid thing to do. Imagine if I had died on day 499, just one day before reaching 500 days. Don't worry about making mistakes though, that can happen to anyone and it's just part of the game.
Oh, what? I didn't reload. Oh, no. Whoops.
When moving around the world, be especially aware of walls and listen to where they are so you avoid running into one unprepared. Sometimes all it takes is that you didn't pay attention for a split second and then your run is over.
Oh, no, we're done! No! What the hell? That was so fast! That was so fast! It's over! It's over, it's over.
Of course, sometimes, regardless of difficulty, things are just out of your control and the game will just try to kill you.
Well... Oh, God!
I mean that you will die. The game will kill you. It's offended by the attempt.
Generally speaking, you should not be afraid to use the meds you find around the world, such as painkillers and antibiotics. This is because these items will eventually expire, and when they reach 0% condition, you can no longer use them. Compare this to their plant counterparts, which do not expire nearly as fast, plus you can just wait to harvest them. So don't be greedy with meds, just use them. The only exception to this is the previously mentioned emergency stim. This is an extremely powerful item in the game, allowing you to instantly heal and escape immediate death.
Oh my god! We're dead! Oh my god, we died! Hold on! Hold the on!
There are only a few of these in the game, usually about 10 and 12 depending on luck, so you should hang on to these. As you survive longer and longer, you are likely to end up in the odd wolf or bear struggle, causing your gear to get damaged or ruined. Therefore, it is important to keep backups of gear belonging to slots that have no crafting replacements. Keep extra sweaters, ear wraps, wool toques, thermal underwear and socks. Some of these items are rare, for example the air wrap, which you will only find 2 or 3 of in the game. The wool long johns may not even spawn. In one of my runs, I never found one after looting the entire world and surviving 800 days. Just keep in mind that you do need to return to your main base every 50 days or so in order to repair them, otherwise they will become ruined. Just a little note regarding this, even if a new region were to be released while you're on your run, you can never actually find new clothing items. They will all spawn with 0% condition. When Ash Canyon was released, I was already on day 650, meaning that all the clothing I found in the region was already at 0%. One aspect of surviving long runs is deciding what to wear. This issue is debatable and has no right answer, because what you wear depends on both personal preference and your gameplay goals. On lower difficulties, players can wear amazing clothing such as the Expedition Parka or the Cowichan Sweater, but these do not exist on Interloper. In the late game, there are essentially 2 schools of thought on what to wear, either double bear coat or wolf coat combo. These 2 approaches represent warmth and mobility respectively. First, let's look at how these items work in terms of warmth. Assuming that the rest of your clothing is the warmest possible and that it's repaired to a high degree, wearing double bear coat will allow you to stay warm outdoors during the afternoon, even in late game Interloper. Wearing a wolf coat or 2 will not allow you to stay warm unless you combine it with some sort of other warming up effect or item like the cold fusion badge, a torch or double air wraps. The afternoon is the warmest time of day, provided that it isn't windy, and having a double bear coat will allow you to avoid taking cold damage while traveling through most of the regions. However, if you compare stamina, then the wolf coat combo allows for more sprinting than bear coats. It also weighs less, meaning you can carry more stuff. Some players also wear 1 wolf coat and 1 moose cloak, mostly because the moose cloak provides the most animal protection and the wolf coat has a chance to scare off wolves, although how often this happens has not been fully investigated. Personally, I always wear double bear coat since it makes cold less of an issue, but I do put on a moose cloak when going to Bleak Inlet because that region is very cold anyway and it helps against those pesky timber wolves. So, in terms of what to wear, the double bear coat is arguably the best because it gives you increased protection against the cold, meaning there's 1 less thing for you to worry about in terms of survival. But this is just my opinion and you should choose whatever clothing is best suited for you and your playstyle.
Oh, Astrid, you poor thing.
At some point during your Interloper run, you have probably looted most of the world. You found all the food and items there are, and you probably think, well, that's all there is to it. But now that you're in for the long run, a good idea is to start exploring the world more thoroughly. Trust me, you will be surprised at what you missed. Check every corner, under the beds, and behind any objects you might think of. I have on multiple occasions re-looted the world and found multiple objects hidden around that I just missed the first time. I would especially recommend doing this if a content patch hits while you are playing, because sometimes the developers add new loot to an area, leading you to find little things that were never there before.
Wonder if this is any good to eat.
Finally, if you are invested in the long run of Interloper, going perhaps for 500 days or longer, many people wonder, what should I do with my time?
Cause Stickman is very stylish. He likes to lounge on a bearskin rug while he smokes his cigar in the cave. There we go. We took a picture of him with his bearskin rug. There we go.
At some point you will have crafted everything, looted everything, and you have a well-supplied base. So what now? Well, the great thing about The Long Dark is that the game specifically doesn't tell you what to do. You have to make your own adventure. Therefore, I recommend setting goals for yourself to keep yourself busy. You'll be surprised how long it will take to do some of these goals. When I tried to go for 500 days, I had over 25 goals to complete, ranging from difficult to easy. These were all logged in a journal for better overview. Some players, like Goon TV, set so-called everyday challenges, where they have to complete a new thing every day, ranging from visiting a cairn to killing a moose. What you decide to do during your long-term run is completely up to you, but here are a few examples of what you can do if you are looking for inspiration. Build trails to fishing huts so you can navigate during blizzards. Get faithful cartographer or explore 100% of the world. Survive 50 or maybe 100 days in each region, focusing on those regions that you are least familiar with so you can learn the most from them. Open all crates in the world in search of hidden loot. Worst case scenario, you get lots of wood. Or get gunsmithing to level 5, because why not? And that's it for this video. Ultimately, when you reach the late game of Interloper, it's really about setting your own goals for what you want to do, while staying safe and conserving resources. And let's be honest here, if you made it to day 500 on Interloper, then you really don't need my help anyway. You are already a hardened survivor. And hey, if you were to die in the late game, it doesn't really matter. It's an excuse to start a brand new adventure. And that's what the Long Dark is all about, creating your own adventures. See you next time, survivors.
I love this game. This game makes me happy. I can come back to this game at any given moment and have a good time playing it.
What should I do to get the moose taken care of? Papa Stickman, what do you say?
Well now, Athenon, I'd say if you want the moose to be taken care of, you need to tweet it to Raph. You need to say, Raph, the moose needs to spawn a little bit quicker, don't you know?
Well, Athenon, if you just stay patient, it will be just time, and the moose will spawn in his own time. Don't worry about it. Just have a nice cup of tea and you'll be fine.
I don't care about no stinking moose. Nobody's here to see the moose anyway. They're here to see the Stick family.
Really?